Right. So module 1 is going to be the getting started with the data analytics side here. So first of all, sorry about that. I have a little cold. So maybe. So today we are going to learn about data analysis and getting started with Power BI. So first of all, agenda is this one. Something has happened to my laptop. All right. So data and as you can see it on the image here, data and information is the most strategic business assets in today's world. So like everybody used to say, data is the new oil, because like 30, 40 years back, we found oil and then the world has changed a lot. And for the today's generation, data is the main source for them in order to run the business in a proper way, to take any decisions, whatever they want to make based on the business. So we have a data anywhere in many places, like we have a data on our relational databases, like the ERP, any kind of application which is being used inside any company. For example, if they are a manufacturing industry, they have their own application. If they are on a finance side, then they are using any finance applications. It can be developed by their own in-house team, or it can be the kind of enterprise tools, which is Microsoft Dynamic or SAP or Oracle kind of thing, or even the Salesforce, if it is for the CRM or even for the Zoho, any kind of thing. But every business has some kind of data within them, and they want to analyze this data in order to get the result out of it. So wherever you go through, even in my experience, even if the company is following up SAP or Microsoft Dynamic, Excel, they have some kind of information within the Excel itself. The reason is because the simplicity of Excel is adopted widely in these many decades, right? So at least if even they have, like, for example, the transaction data in the database, but the budget and planning information, they used to keep it on Excel file. So we'll have multiple information in various places. And the social media is also one of the main source of the data generations. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, and also the LinkedIn. So these are the social media platforms where we get the data. Data in the sense, not only the regular transaction data, it actually covers also the semi-structured and also the unstructured data. Like for example, the video, audio, and also the image kind of thing. So those informations we can able to analyze accordingly. So we have a tools nowadays so that we can extract the information from those things, and then we can get the result out of it. And not only that, we'll also have an email with us. So that also plays an important role. So if you want to build any kind of report which actually triggers information, the email has arrived on this day and nobody has taken any action so far, like within a 3 days kind of thing, we can also send an alert kind of thing to any team. So multiple things we can build using the data. But the important thing is you need to collect the data. So that's an important thing. Whatever it is, wherever it is, you need to store those information somewhere in a place so that we can connect it and we can modify according to our needs, and then we can build the report on top of that. As you can see it on this image, on the left-hand side, whatever we have it here is everything is the data sources here. Like Oracle, we have a Mailchimp and Facebook, SQL, Salesforce, SAP kind of thing. And it goes through a transformation funnel and then it builds the reports on the right-hand side. So this is screenshot is basically a Power BI screenshot, but we can build anything based on our business need. So not single requirement fulfill for every organizations, every company, even though they are the same manufacturing or finance or supply chain industry, but every company will have a different requirement based on the nature of work. So in that case, we need to build a separate requirement for them. And also the data structure, the way how they are following the data, it will vary. So we need to work on those things here. Yeah, that's the reason we need to build this Power BI report using this tool. Power BI is actually one of the tool, but data analytics is the wide concept. So we have a data in multiple different sources, and we need to build a report in any tool so that we can analyze the data. That's the thing, because regular tabular format, it is hard to recognize the information. So if we put it in a graphical way, the KPI kind of information, then it will be easy for us to make the decisions. So when it comes to data analysis, the main purpose is like we need to tell a story, right? Story in the sense, because that's the thing which regular human is able to understand what actually is happening. In regular transaction world, we used to have a SSRS and fiscal report reporting period, where if manager asks or if CEO asks any kind of report, then we just take a printout from the ERP and then give it to them. So they need to look at every line by line to analyze what is these things. And later on, some upgrades are come up, and then they use like official the graphical way of chart presentation. So the advancement of that has brought up here. So presenting the things in a graphical way, it's easy as a human mind to understand and capture the data. So we need to use the chart wisely so that we can easily tell the story what actually it needs to tell. Using of the graph is also an important thing, which we are going to cover in later part of the sessions, in future sessions, but not today. So there are main 5 categories what we have it on the different type of analytics here. So which is descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, and cognitive. So what is descriptive? So descriptive is nothing but what is happening in the sense what has happened actually. So far, majority of the project which I worked on this Power BI thing, people have already using this descriptive analytics because they have the data available with them and they want to get the insight out of it. So they will just showcase this is the sales happened so far. So they will give the trend of that, like these are the sales which is happening throughout the year, throughout the month, so from January to December, for example, in a year, or what is the sales percentage and what is the profit and loss kind of thing. So these things can be easily possible to do it on a descriptive analytics side. Whereas the diagnostic analytics is a second stage. This is also companies are following up. This is actually finding the root cause of it. So what is the reason for that hike, or what is the reason for that dip here on the sales, for example? There may be reasons if we look inside to that, but the important thing is we need to have a data accordingly. So if you have that, then we can understand that the hike on the sales is basically because of the festival season. If there is a down on the sales, maybe because of the COVID, which has happened in 2020, 2021, the sales, everything, most of the companies has gone down, except the pharma and IT industry, obviously. But other companies generally has hit very badly during those periods. So with the help of the data, if we have those information, then we can use the second stage as a kind of diagnostic analytics, where we can find the root cause of every problem. So in manufacturing industry, we'll also capture each and every thing which is happening on the production line. If the defects are going high, if the repair and defects are going high, then if you want to find the root cause, then we need to capture every stage here. So the QC manager or QC employee has to inspect the goods, and then they need to monitor and they need to keep a track of each and every batch or each and every product. So what is the reason for this defect kind of thing? So if you have those information, we can show up here. So the defect percentage is set to 1%. Now it is 5%. So that is descriptive analytics. And now if you want to find the root cause of it, then we'll go to the diagnostic analytics so that we can figure out that, oh, this is because of the process which we have made wrong, or this is because of the B1 quantity which is not right kind of thing. So whatever it is, so we can able to find the root cause if you have those information. Right. So the next thing here is predictive analytics. So what is likely to happen in the future based on the historic trend and patterns? So trying to find answer using statistical and ML algorithms. So this predictive analytics is most of the companies are still not following up here, but we have certain tools where we can make use of that. This actually, we need to have a trend. For example, if you have a sales trend from the last 10 years and you want to predict what will happen in the next 1 year, kind of the next 2-3 years kind of thing, then Power BI itself has the functionality to predict those with help of some parameters which we need to pass. So based on the data what we have, it will predict those information here. And nowadays we have a different tools where we can make use of that. And here is also data science team will also play an important role in order to, they need to build multiple algorithms using machine learning models, and they need to use multiple statistical functions, so that we can also use those patterns existing in our data and predict the future, what will happen to do that. The next thing here is prescriptive analytics, where we need to determine the actions to avoid the future issues. So this analysis can be used to advise users on possible outcomes to improve their business metrics. So we have now what has happened and why it has happened and what will happen in the future. And now we need to use this option, which is prescriptive analytics, where this will give the users the possible outcomes, which is the best way which we need to follow in order to get the business metric achieved on that. And the last thing which we have it here is cognitive analytics, which is apply human-like brain artificial intelligence to perform tasks. So using technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, etc., to perform these tasks. So this is also an level advanced which we are using up here. Nowadays, because of the Copilot thing and Azure AI and also with ChatGPT, even though it is not integrated with those things with the data, but actually these are the part of those things where we can get our files and get our data, and then we'll get the results out of it. So if we are going into the Microsoft stack itself, then Power BI, we can build the data. And now Power BI is a part of Microsoft Fabric as well. So I just want to give you the overview of the Fabric here, because so that you can also get aware of that. No, I think we'll discuss this after a few minutes once I complete this one. If you have any questions in between, please don't hesitate to interrupt. Yeah, we can take a call on that. All right. So in terms of data, particularly because data is the new oil. So what are the roles which we have? So here we have a business analyst as a role, and data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, and database administrator. So a data business analysis, we have not, okay. So business analyst is nothing but they are the one who gives the requirement to the data people so that they can collect those informations and transform the data and then build the report to them. So they are the one who are aware of the business process, and they want to analyze some data and to make the business decisions. So that will be helpful for them. So they are the business side people. And data analyst is actually the person, those who need to work on it. The data, I mean, the sequence which has mentioned here is actually the reverse way, because the database administrator has to become first, because we need to collect the data from different sources and store it somewhere else. So they need to maintain the data for the disaster recovery kind of thing. So those things comes into picture to maintenance and disaster recovery and secure the data for the row level security kind of thing, because nobody can access the data outside the organizations. These are all things which applied over there. And the DPA 300 is nothing but the name of the certification exam provided by Microsoft. And data scientist here is nothing but, as we discussed in our previous slide, that they can build multiple machine learning models so that we can have a different metrics and we can predict our future, and we can guide the business analysts. You need to take this kind of steps so that we can get this kind of result kind of thing. So that's a part of data scientist. And data engineer is actually, they also plays a role in order to ingest the data from different sources and then transform the data according to the data analyst requirement and business analyst requirement, and store it into a place where database administrator can manage the data. And data analysis is nothing but they will take the data which is built by the data engineers and data scientists, and then they can work on top of that in order to build the report for the Power BI report, for example, and hand it over to the business people so that they can analyze further. So they are all interconnected with this role. So it is not kind of like one person has to do all this kind of job here. Next, what we have it here is, okay. So here, the data analyst, data scientist, and data administrator. So all these roles are now a part of Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric is a recent product from Microsoft, which actually combines multiple tools and technologies into single unified place. Because Power BI has played a major role in Microsoft journey since last like 7 years, I can say. So because that's the biggest, hit product from Microsoft, one of the hit products from Microsoft. Um, Obviously not compared to the Excel, because still even Microsoft has brought Power BI and they have done many things, but still they cannot able to replace Excel as a kind of source for the business analyst. Even they have analyzed many things, they brought many features, but still they have given an option to analyze in Excel feature in Power BI, because at the end it is going to use by the business analyst people, so that they can extract the information from Power BI data set into the Excel, and they want to play around if they want to do something changes to that. So that's one thing. That's a different story. But here, the business analyst, whatever. So the Fabric thing here. So Fabric is a part of Microsoft Power BI, data engineers and data scientists. So initially it was like Synapse Data Warehouse and Synapse Data Engineering, Azure Data Factory, and Azure Machine Learning kind of thing. Everything they brought together into single unified platform. And the best part here is the data, whatever which we are going to extract, ingest into that, it's going to store into one single place, which is called as one lake, basically. One lake is nothing but, in a simple term, how we have Google Drive, where we are storing all our files. Similarly, Microsoft has OneDrive, where we can store all our files over there, Office file, Excel, Word kind of document. Similarly, they have built up a one lake where we can store all our data into one single unified platform over there. And they are still working on to develop one security, which is a feature like if you want to secure our data, we can secure at the one lake level itself, so that we don't need to worry about our data security issue. And from one data, these people like data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, administrator, everybody, and business analyst as well, everybody can work on a single unified environment. So that's the beauty of Microsoft Fabric. So we'll focus just on Power BI during this boot camp, and further you can have a look into that Microsoft Fabric after this boot camp. So what are the tasks of data analysts? Like we discussed, the task is like they need to prepare the data, and they need to model the data in terms of, because model plays a major role in terms of Power BI report requirement. And the reason is because the performance and also the report requirement, how you need to present the data, those things plays a role in the model actually. And visualize, so we need to use the correct graph kind of thing, and analyze what information we need to analyze here. And finally, the security part, which is how we can manage those informations. So these are all the things which is mainly focused for the data analyst people. So this is basically the Microsoft documentation. The PL300 is nothing but the examination for Power BI data analyst from Microsoft. And we are going to cover for the Power BI. So getting started with Power BI. So what is Power BI? Power BI is a collection of software, services, apps, and connectors in simple terms. So Power BI is free. The Power BI desktop is free. Hope you all have already installed in your systems. I recommend you to install from the store of your Windows. The reason is because if there is a new update comes up, then it will update automatically if you're using from the store app. But if you're downloading it from any external website from Microsoft, then you need to download it every month. Usually, the versions what they have it here, like on-prem Power BI desktop, which is for the on-prem server, and the regular one, which is for Power BI desktop, and the third one is Power BI online. So these are three products what Microsoft has. And usually the on Power BI service one, it will update every week, and Power BI desktop, which is also free, with this will update once in every month, mostly like second and third week of every month. And the Power BI on-prem server, which is for on-prem server kind of thing, that updates every, I think, 3 to 4 months period of time. If they update those versions. So where we can use the Power BI here, like so far what we discussed, like we need to get the data from different sources and then prepare the data, transform, model the data, and then visualize the data kind of thing. So all these things can be done in Power BI. So that's a tool from Microsoft. And the beauty of that is we can use it on the desktop, we can use it on the web, and we can also use it on the mobile devices. So mobile application is also free from Microsoft. We can make use of that as well. So that's the good part. So there are a few building blocks of Power BI which we need to understand in order to work further. So one is when it comes to Power BI service, we have a report and we have a dashboard. There are two different things, but we have it in Power BI. And majority of the people are quite confused about what is the difference between reports and the dashboard. Report is actually the one which you actually work, right? So which we develop the report and build the report and publish into Power BI service. So that's basically the report. So dashboard is a kind of thing where you cannot able to interact with anything. For example, if you see this screen, this is on the left side, it is actually a dashboard. Even on the right side, it is also a dashboard itself. But if you want to analyze something, so why the trend has gone up, when you click on that, then you are not able to interact within this here. It will open the report for you, and within the report, you can able to interact with each and every visual here. So dashboard is just for viewing purpose, and you can add multiple report inside to one single dashboard. And not only entire report, you can also pin each and every visual. For example, here on the left side, we have the unit market share 33%. You can add all that particular card visuals inside to a dashboard from one report. And from another report, you can add another information inside to one dashboard. So that will be kind of high level executive view, I can say, for the dashboard. But for the regular one, those who want to analyze the data by themselves, that they need to use a report for that. So that's the difference between the dashboard and the report. All right. So the next building block is the data and the Power BI desktop. So the data structure needs to be, we need to have, because if the data structure is not proper, then it will be a huge work for us in order to develop, transform the data according to the business need and the build report in Power BI desktop as per the business requirement. So that will be a challenge for us, because it depends actually, because company to company, they will have a different way of working approach. So, but we need to understand how these things need to be manipulated, transformed into Power BI, which we'll cover in future sessions. Okay, so these are the four building blocks here. So this is actually the Power BI service thing, which I will show you on later part of this session. Usually the common workflow is like, we need to get the requirement from the business, and we need to know about where the data is available and get the data from that into Power BI. And from Power BI, we need to transform the data, model the relationship, and build the report, and then share this with in Power BI service. And from Power BI service, we need to share this with other people. On the left hand side, we see it is showing up here as apps, which is nothing but we need to share the report using app. That's the default structure which we need to follow. And we will also cover that in more detail in our future sessions. All right, so today we covered about the following up, which is data analysis and how do we get started with Power BI. There are few references which is available here. I will also add these things in the chat so that you can get aware of those things. Yeah, I think that's it for today's session. We are just getting started. Okay. After this. All right. Yeah, those who are not available today, just want to inform, maybe if they want to watch the recording sessions, um, like if Nicola has already mentioned you about a kind of certifications which we are going to issue at the end of this boot camp. So you need to be available at least 60 to 70% of the boot camp. Then only you are eligible for those certifications. So that's the point which we have. The reason is because we are spending our time in order to help the community, because this is not a paid boot camp, this is a free itself. So you can get the most use of it. So getting a certification is not a mandatory, it's an added advantage for you. But getting the knowledge of how these things works is the most important thing for you. So that you can also learn and you will also share your knowledge with other to help and grow further. All right. So these are the things which we discussed today. So I have a few things here. Let's see. Um, yeah, I think I thought to create a poll so that I can check how this works. Uh, Wednesday or Friday. As I can see on the list which we have, so it's Friday and Monday. Sorry, Wednesday is a preferred one. Majority of people have mentioned about that. So this one, this is required, and as a drop down. Okay. 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. So I'm launching a poll actually. Hope you can also see it on your screen. You can just vote as per your choice here. If you're okay with the existing one, then you can select Friday 9 p.m. But if you want to make any changes, then you can just poll it here. Hope you can see the poll on your screen, right? Okay.
It would have been great if we had 8 p.m. as the option.
8 p.m. Okay. Yeah, I thought if majority people are joined today, then we'll get their inputs as well. So I will make a note of it. We'll see. I think Friday most people will join because this is Monday. People are hectic today. I just want to cover things, so that's why I kept it here as an additional. Yeah, thank you so much for your vote. I think everybody has done their vote here. For now, it's Friday 9 p.m. itself. That's a major polling time here. Thank you so much for that. We'll also discuss this even on Friday as well. We'll see how these things work. And then we'll take it further. At least for this week, we'll follow the same. Okay. That's fine. All right. So do you guys have any questions? You can let me know.
Yes, Mr. Adnan. Gautami, please continue. I will put question later.
Okay.
Thank you. So I was wondering if to download Power BI on our laptop, do we need to have Office ID or some official ID, or I can use my personal ID as well?
Power BI desktop is free for you to download, and you don't need to log in anything else, and you don't also need your personal or official ID for using Power BI desktop. Only for Power BI service you need that, and for that you need official ID, not a personal ID.
I'm sorry, for what do I need official ID? To publish.
Yeah, to publish and share with other people, right? So that time you need a official ID. But for other reasons, to develop report, to build the report, to get the data from different sources, for all these things, we don't need anything else.
Okay, thank you.
At least for this bootcamp. Maybe when you work on your official project, during that time you need those things, because that's an official thing. If anyway they are going to provide you those informations. But for
I
this bootcamp, you don't need that.
I do have an official ID. That's my Workspace ID. So I don't want to use that for my personal reasons. I was just wondering if I could use my own thing.
Yeah, you can use without that as
Thank you.
well. Okay. You can just go to store and then download it Power BI desktop.
I will.
Windows Store. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Adnan, I have a question, please.
Yeah, please.
Basically, you have started with this session with data science, data engineering, and something like that. And then you have gone through the Power BI session. Basically, I need to ask a question, whether either we need a coding structure to learn to operate the Power BI, or there is no need of coding like Python or R, something like that, to learn the Power BI in advanced level.
Okay, that's a good question. So coding in the sense of you may require, but first of all, to learn Power BI, we need to have knowledge on two things. One is M language and another is a DAX here. So M language is basically called as Power Query language. So that is most of the functionalities of Power Query is available on the user interface itself. You may not need to learn how these things work as a kind of coding, but for extreme advanced level, you need to learn the M language. That's important thing. And because that is where you're transforming your data and shaping your data. So that only you need to learn the Power Query here. Even I personally prefer to go level up on the Power Query itself. The reason is because Power Query is being not only used in Power BI, it is also available in Excel. It is also available in Dynamic. It is also available in M365. It is also available in Power Platform. It is also available in Fabric. Also available on Dataflow. So it is available in multiple places. Even if you learn in one place, you're going to use the same functionality in other places as well. So M language is one. Another thing is DAX, which is the functional language in Power BI. If you are aware of Excel formulas, then you can easily switch from Excel functional language into DAX. Even if you are not aware of that, no need to worry about that. It's not complicated. It is simple, but sometimes it will get complicated if you don't understand things. That's the only thing here. But if you understand how these functionalities work, then it is easy for us to work on the DAX as well. Now, coming to your question about the Python. So we have a custom visuals available in Power BI for Python, where you can add that and you can also write your custom code Python language to build multiple different visuals. That is also possible to do that. But majority, so far, whatever I have seen in my experience, companies are not using Python visuals. They are using, but very few companies are using up that. So they're not using up there. But to learn Python language is a plus for you. The reason is because being the next level of Power BI. So Power BI is just focused on data analytics side. That one skill may not be helpful for you. You need some additional skills for you, like data engineer as well. Because nowadays companies are looking for multi-skilled people. So that's the reason if you want to go with data engineering side as well, then anyway you are going to learn Power Query, so you'll use that Power Query. Plus, if you have a Python or Apache Spark language, then you can make use of that. So Python is also added advantage for you if you learn that. I have given a long answer, but that's how it is.
I guess that was the answer of my question. I need to ask another question, please, if you allow me.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Basically, in current job, I need to submit different dashboards made on my Excel, and I have to share to the management. And basically, the objective to learn the Power BI is basically I need to advance or level up my experience or knowledge to build the dashboard in an easy way. Basically, if I'm going to share that dashboards to the management, it will be helpful and satisfied by a job. Then
Right.
how can I share a dashboard built on Power BI to the management?
Right. So there are multiple ways where you can share that. One is sharing of the report which you develop in Power BI desktop. But for this, you need a license, which is if you have a Power BI, we would start from Pro license and then we'll have a Fabric license after that. So Pro license is nothing but every user need to have a Pro license, which is 10 US dollar per user per month. If you are going for a premium, which is Fabric capacities, then it will be, we have a different licensing part, so that we need to purchase on that. So for example, if you go with F64, there only the developer need a license, the viewer doesn't need any license for that, but that actually cost around like 5,000 US dollar per month per capacity. So there is no limitations for the user over there. So that's the license short. That's the short part actually what I'm explaining you about the license. And next thing is you need to build multiple reports and publish it into Power BI service in a workspace. And from that, if you want to directly share the report, you can share it to the business user, which is actually not a recommended way. In general, you need to create an app within the workspace. We have an option to create an app, and you need to share that app actually. It is not like mobile app, it's actually a report app generally. That's how it is called as. And you need to share this with officially, if you're sharing it to someone, then it has to be shared through Entra ID group, which is Azure Active Directory group, not through single user group. The reason for that is because of the maintenance. Because today someone will come and will new join and somebody will left the company or transfer the job. Then you need to reassign those reports kind of thing to every person. So to avoid those maintenance issue, it is good to share it with Azure AD group itself. Because if you remove a person from that AD group and if you add, then all the access, whatever it is there, it will be available for the new person. So that's all. So in simple, build the report in desktop, share it into Power BI service, publish into Power BI service, and from Power BI service, create an app and share that app to the end user. That's how they flow.
There will be no charges, or we have
Yeah,
to.
correct. So if you don't have any license so far, then you need to have a pro license, which is 10 US dollar per user per month. And your manager, if they are one person, then they need to buy a separate license for them. If you have a 10 users, then you need to buy 10 different licenses for them. Every person will need to have a 10 US dollar per user per month kind of license.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But if your user has like a more than 200 or 250 user, then it is recommended to go with premium license itself instead of going with single license.
Okay, one more question, please. One more
Yeah.
question. If we compare Power BI with Tableau, versus Excel, Power BI, Tableau versus Excel. If we compare these three tools, what will be the preferable?
Preferable will be Excel. Yeah, the reason is because, like I mentioned on the demo itself, so so far there is no replacement for Excel, to be honest. Even myself, I'm like working with Power BI for this many years. I feel what to say, I feel satisfied when I download the data from Power BI and then work something else on the Excel, because that's how we used to do during our old experiences. So actually, we cannot compare Excel with Power BI and Tableau. We can compare Power BI and Tableau because those things are business analytic tool, but Excel is not meant for that. Because Excel companies are using for different reasons. Some companies are using these as a database, Excel itself. Some of them they are using it for specific reporting purpose. Some of them they are using it for proper reporting purpose itself. So we cannot compare that. So Excel is a different, but I'll keep that at the top list. Now, when compared to Power BI and Tableau, the reason Power BI is the best among these two is because initially when Power BI launched in like 2015, at that time Tableau was not free, because I was exploring things during that time. Power BI Desktop is free to use, and but Tableau was not free during that time. Mostly it was like $70 kind of thing in 2015 itself. I'm not remembering that, and that's the one of the reason actually Tableau didn't get much awareness to the public, because Power BI has given the free to the end users. If you want to share something with others, then only you need to pay. But everything, if you want to do it for your own purpose, if you want to learn something, then you can make it free itself. That's a bigger plus point for Power BI. And now, when they launch Fabric, that's a bigger picture. No enterprise has come up with this kind of solution where they have this one leg solution, and every people like data engineer, data scientist can place work in a single place. So these capabilities has not developed by any cloud providers like Amazon or Oracle kind of thing. Only Microsoft has that functionality and that feature. So Power BI is the leading most for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.